Hello guys and welcome to Daily Updates. Saturday the 23rd of April 2022. That is the date Kgomotso Diale was buried. He was killed in Pimville. This is a commander who is the part of Operation Dudula movement. Now this gave an opportunity for Nhlanhla Lux to address everyone. And that is the first time. I know we haven't seen him many times, but that is the first time I've seen Nhlanhla Lux so angry. He was addressing at the funeral, paying tribute to Kgomotso, and he had a lot to say. He had a lot to say about many things that are happening, especially the death of Kgomotso and the cause. He said, to hell with the opinions of old people. Respectfully, to hell with politicians. And he was very angry. Guys, catch a glimpse of what he said.
People, when it imagines what happens, because you went through the same moment in 76. When your parents said, no, don't do what you are doing, you said to hell for the first time, to hell with what my mother says. To hell with what my father says. So with all due respect, I'm telling you now, to hell with what you say. To hell with what the old leadership of this country that has sold this country out have to say. Le kasana kaofela le salemrao le chechelemrao. La re ka ya re le 10. If Roshwela taba tsa South Africa kwa re tla di shwela, no problem. Commander Uti tsela o rile. A ke ba tore ebe another funeral. Fela ka ba ne re bua re filwe mic commanders. Today, where are the politicians that were at Elvis Nyati's damn funeral? Where are those politicians? To hell with those politicians. We had to, as a community, force the media to come and hear us. I asked the media the other day, there's a word called xenophobia. That word is used against South Africans when they speak up and speak the truth. And what's the word used for foreigners that are killing South Africans? What's that word? Media, teach me. What is that word? Commanders, king ilibitoleo. King ilibitoleo every day. What's the word when illegal foreigners are occupying our townships and abusing our people in their own spaces? What is
This was Nhlanhla Lux speaking at the funeral of Kgomotso, and notably very angry, very passionate about what he says. Now, what I'm about to say, many people might have their own views and disagreements. Many might even try to throw insults, but I'm not trying to start any controversy. It goes like this. Each and every movement has its leader, and leaders are not made, they are born. It doesn't matter who you are, you get born to be a leader. Even if you don't follow that those rules or that path, sooner or later you are going to be a leader. Now, here's a comparison that, according to me, it shapes how radical Nhlanhla Lux is. When you look at ANC as a movement and how it used to produce leaders way back, you can just note and see similarities in Nhlanhla Lux. We are talking about the youth in ANC, the youth leaders. We're talking about people like Peter Mokaba, how radical he was. Fikile Mbalula was radical, but not to such an extent that many sat down and said, wow. But he was also radical, so you can count him as part of those movements. Julius Malema is the last person in the ANC who was very radical. It doesn't matter how you feel about him. He is one of those guys who was so radical that when you look back at the history, you can't talk about the history of youth in the ANC and not count Julius. Now here's Nhlanhla Lux. The man is radical and he stands by what he believes. All of those leaders, they had a belief and they were unshaken. They believed in what they believe in. Now, in no way should we then compare the 3 or 4 guys. But what we can say about it is that no one in their right mind should undermine what Nhlanhla Lux is. Of course, each and every leader, they should seek guidance and advice on whatever movement or whatever belief they have so that they don't go overboard. But in no way should the media, should other politicians, should South Africa undermine what Nhlanhla Lux is, because when you undermine such a leader, one day you see them ahead, you see them leading, you see them at the top, and you say, why did we not see this? Many are trying to stop the guy because they know they've seen leaders like this guy who emerged. So the only way is to stop the guy. Many are afraid of competition because they see the rage in the guy. So if you undermine a leader like Nhlanhla Lux, you should look back at what the history says. The history tells us that each and every leader, especially young leaders, if they emerge at a young stage, you should never undermine them. You should look at them and fear the mind they possess, because these are the future leaders of the country. Now, there are many criticisms that can be leveled at Nhlanhla Lux. Everyone has their own opinion, but what the public or what the media shouldn't do is to say we are writing the guy off. That is not supposed to happen. I mentioned leaders like Julius Malema because when you look at back at history, you will understand when leaders are radical and they believe in what they have, what they turn out to be. So you undermine such leaders, you look back or you look ahead at history, it tells you that they are going to be something. Nhlanhla Lux has his own movement, and the movement has a cause. So you should sit down and listen. I've always said that government should sit down and listen to the cries of the people of the Operation Dudula. Because at the end of the day, whether they like it or not, it will affect them. Whether they like it or not, it will affect them. They will have to sit down and say, now we're listening. If someone has an opinion and you undermine it, one day you see that opinion becoming bigger, you say, I should have listened. This is the opportunity for ANC to try and resolve any problems that goes on in the country. You listen to both sides. You do not undermine anyone on the way. This is in no way to say that Nhlanhla Lux is right, foreigners are wrong, Nhlanhla Lux is right. No, it's not in that way. But it is to say they should sit down and listen to the problem that we have at hand. And when someone is so passionate like the guy that is speaking here, and then you sit there as a government and say, nah, man, let's rather shut him down, arrest him, or let's just put him aside. You're not doing anything. Because he is influencing a lot of people. He's influencing a lot of people that one day will carry the same passion that he has. Now, how are you going to stop hundreds of thousands of people? And I can tell you now, if they were to open a political party that were to contest the 2024 elections, many would be surprised because they will carry with them a lot of people and they will disturb the balance in many political parties. You undermine a person at your own will, but you look back at history, it's going to tell you that you should have listened to what he had to say. leaders like Peter Mokaba, many disliked him. Many from the opposition, white people disliked him. And he was the voice of the young people in the ANC and in South Africa as a whole. They looked at him, they say, this is the resistance that we need. If we adopt this resistance, they are going to listen to us whether they like it or not. No comparison, but I'm saying what we see here, it's what's going to happen if people are not careful. Because these are the guys that tells us that give me a chance, listen to me, I am for change. With that said, guys, it was just an opinion about what I witnessed in Nhlanhla Lux. And thank you for tuning into the channel. Hope you click that subscribe button for more videos in future. Cheers, guys.